Hello everybody and welcome back to Clay Cat Show. I'm sorry I couldn't fit the whole tuning tutorial in one video. It might go in 3 parts, it might make it into 2 parts. It all depends on how fast I can get through this. So this is on the 05 BMW M3. I've got a couple people in the party with me. They're going to just be drifting around, not talking. So as far as what I went over in the last video, it was tires, gearing, and alignment. This video, we're going to go over springs, dampening, aero. Well, we don't need aero, and braking, self-explanatory, and differential. So springs, dampening, and differential. I'll briefly touch on aero and braking. Oh yeah, and anti-roll bars, we're going to hit that as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. Anti-roll bars. So what this is it controls how much roll your vehicle gets as it goes around a turn. So if you've ever been in a really tall truck and you're taking a turn, the vehicle leans really hard and then it straightens back out, that would be equivalent to a soft anti-roll bar. Whereas if you've ever been in a really fast sports car or in a really small car with just a sportier car and you were driving down the road, you'll notice that it's really stiff. As you take a turn, it sticks to the road like a platform, and it doesn't really sway back and forth at all. So what happens with these is I like to have body roll in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and lower these down. I'm going to take it to, let's say 20. I'll bring the back to 18. And the reason why I keep my front a little higher than my back is because with the back being looser, it gives the front more control as you're going around the turn. Now, for like a rear engine or a mid-engine vehicle, you would want to do the opposite because all the weight is in the back. If you're interested in tuning a rear engine vehicle, which I highly suggest not to do unless you are a decent to expert drifter. If you are a beginner, stick with the front engine, rear wheel drive, drift cars. And anti-roll bars, that's how I like to set mine up. So moving on to the springs, notice that the springs are a little softer in the front and heavier in the rear. I don't like that. I'm going to switch them around because once again, if the front's stiffer, it has more control. If the back's stiffer, it has more control. And by more control, I mean you spin out a lot faster if the rear has more control. So if you're having a problem where your car is not really sliding very well, then soften up your rear suspension and leave your front suspension where it's at. I like to keep my ride height all the way off to the ground, and like I've been saying in the past video and this video, I like to keep my stuff soft so that way whenever I hit curbs, it doesn't spin me out. Alright, so moving on to dampening. So bump dampening and rebound stiffness is whenever you hit a bump, it's how fast your wheel recovers back to normal without jouncing up and down. Okay? The stiffer it is, the quicker it does that, but also the stiffer your suspension will be as a whole. So whenever you hit a curb and that bump stiffness and the rebound stiffness is really hard, it'll cause the back end to spin out from underneath you, or it'll cause the front end to lose control or whatever as you hit the curb. Or you'll hit the curb and you'll stick to it. I know a lot of people have done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower these down. I'm going to put it at 3.6. Let's go with 3.6. And I'll put it at 3.5 in the rear because I like to have the rear, like I said, a little lower than the front. Then we're going to bring the bump stiffness up about the same because it doesn't really matter which one is harder or softer as far as your rebound and bump stiffness. So I like to keep them about the same. Aero kits. I hate aero kits. I keep them off my vehicle. If you're going to put an aero kit on your car, put it all the way towards speed. Don't even worry about trying to grip up with an aero kit because you don't need it whenever you're drifting. Braking. I have no preference on braking. I like to keep all 4 wheels to where they do brake. Some people like to put theirs in the front. This is all personal opinion. I keep mine at 52, 132, so it's a little bit stronger braking pressure. and it's a little bit more toward the front. About to sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I like to put mine at 52, so it's a little bit more in the front and the pressure a little bit higher so that whenever I lock the brakes, they lock up faster. And then differential. Okay, so differential, we're going to go into this one a little bit. This one's a little bit more interesting. So most people don't understand what it means by acceleration and deceleration on the differential. Acceleration, if you put it at 0, your wheels, your horse and torque going to the wheels from the motor, you lose a lot of it. The higher you put it, the more it's there. Okay, so you press on the gas pedal, all that horsepower goes to the wheels, not so much is lost. If you go lower, you lose more horsepower and torque going to the wheels, and it causes your wheels not to spin as fast. Okay, deceleration, the exact opposite effect. So you put it as high, whenever you let off the gas pedal. I don't know if you've ever heard of semis jake braking or semis using their shifter to slow down the truck or the semi-truck, and it makes that loud noise. Okay? That's what deceleration is. What it is whenever you're using your engine to slow down the wheels. Okay? So if you let off the gas pedal and you have it high, it'll stop your wheels really fast. Whereas if you put it all the way down low, it'll cause your wheels to just keep spinning at the same rate they are and not really decelerate. So for me, I like to put mine pretty high on both. That way I get my wheel spin, and whenever I get to almost spinning out and I let go of the gas pedal, my car straightens back out instead of spinning all the way around. So we're going to apply this, and I'm going to drift it around. Like I said, this is not my tuning setups that I have on my vehicles in my storefront. The ones in my storefront are far more stable. They run a whole lot better, and I would highly suggest that you guys try them out. As far as this tune goes on this car, this is just a demonstration on how tuning is and what each thing does. So now I'm going to show you what my car feels like completed. So you can see that it's it's super controllable, it's pretty stable, it runs pretty well. It's a little bit grippy in the front, so I might adjust the front tire pressure up a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty good. See, there it is again, that front's really grippy. So let me adjust the front tire pressure up a little bit, and then we'll show you what it looks like. For the most part, it's done. You'll keep tweaking the tunes as you go because you'll figure out what you know what each thing does now, and you'll figure out how it affects the car as you're drifting and what changes what. Honestly, not my most stable tune, but it was a demonstration. Now, if you guys want my actual tune that I will stamp my name to and let you guys download it from my storefront, I will be putting that up on my storefront shortly after this video is uploaded to YouTube. Okay, guys? But I hope you guys learned a lot, and we'll see you all in the next video. I'm running close to my 10-minute mark, so we'll call it good. And be sure to check out some of my videos. If you're new around here, like and subscribe. And definitely check out some of my other videos. We'll see you all.